Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAP TV for today, the 15th day of September 2022. My name is Cyril Aloysius and thank you so much for joining me. Looking at the papers with me, as usual, as always, someone who knows a thing or two about politics, that's Mr. Victor Suku. You're very much welcome to join me, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, given the fuel scarcity issues right now in the country, how did you manage to get here today, sir?
Well, it was worrying because I just had to make a far trip to get fuel.
Because right now, trekking, walking has become a normal thing now for most Nigerians at the moment because of
As you can see, the road empty.
yes,
Nothing is happening. Economic activity.
lots of queues
has
in
gone down.
fuel stations
Yeah,
right now.
even the fuel stations they don't have. But if you see the queues there, you just get baffled. There's no filling station around that there is no queue waiting for when petrol will be sold. It baffles me that up to this time and age of this country that we are still battling fuel scarcity.
And I think, from our previous news sessions that we had, I think in one of those funny headlines, the president was saying that I think he has actually made the best out of the resources of Nigeria. So this particular thing happening right now is just like, I don't know, should I say a mockery of that particular statement?
Sure, it is.
Okay, not to waste your time, we'll be going straight to the newspapers and we'll be looking first at the Vanguard. Amongst the headlines in the Vanguard here, we have, okay, the boldest of them all says, Niger Delta militants at war over pipelines contract. Niger Delta militants at war over pipelines contract. That's on page 5. Our fears over crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, according to Labour on page 24. And another interesting headline here says, on the lower part of the Vanguard, we have on page 4, this one says, PDP crisis, IU must go. That's according to Makinde. Nigerians won't trust us if we remove IU. That article saying on page 4. Article is saying on page 4 says Nigerians won't trust us if we remove IU. Okay, that's a very interesting one. And on page 6 in the Vanguard, we have low revenue. Over 400 MDAs risk scrapping. That's according to Senate on page 6. Low revenue. Over 400 MDAs risk scrapping. That's according to Senate on page 6. And another interesting headline here reads on page 10. This one says, I am awaiting military's response to attack on Uber. That's Buhari saying on page 10. It says, I am awaiting military's response to attack on Uber on page 10, according to Buhari. And on page 6, again, we have ASU strike, students blocking Lagos-Ibadan expressway violating law. That's according to the federal government. ASU strike, students blocking Lagos-Ibadan expressway violating the law, according to federal government on page 6. And on page 4, we have JAMB 6 hike in registration fees to 5,000 naira. JAMB 6 hike in registration fees to 5,000 naira on page 4. And on page 4 as well, we have old PH refinery will become functional in December this year, according to federal government. And lastly, on page 13, we have Nigeria not on track to meet many SDGs by 2030. That's according to UN on page 13 of the Vanguard. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Vanguard paper for today. Mr. Victor, how do you react to these headlines?
Okay, I think I will go for the Niger Delta militants at war over the pipeline contract that was just recently awarded. Oh, a lot in the details. Okay, so just remember what we were discussing just about yesterday.
Yeah.
About Nigeria's resources, oil exploration or oil production has gone so low that Angola has gone ahead of us, and Libya. Even though that Libya is at war, and Angola, you cannot compare fist to fist with Nigeria, but they are producing more.
It's really disturbing.
And it's very, just like I also mentioned, Nigeria has bigger issues. We have the bigger numbers, the population, okay, to cater for. And oil is the number one source of income for the country. When you have Angola that has just about 30 million persons, and Libya just about 3 million. Nigeria is over 200 million, and we are talking about we're not even producing up to 1 million barrels per day. Well, that aside, but going forward, the militants in the Niger Delta are coming at loggerheads at this time because of one person was given a contract.
Mr. Victor, yeah, that leads me to ask a question. Is it really ideal? Is it ideal from your own part to issue out contracts to militants in quotes? Is it ideal?
Ex-militants. Well, they do not like the name ex-militants. They like going by freedom fighters. Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay. So, Tompolo is the main person in the picture. Okay. Tompolo happens to be an ex-militant. Well, he's well known as government Epolopolo of the Ewesu chief priest of Ewesu deity. Okay, and he happened to be the person in the big picture because he was awarded a contract. Okay, just recently by NNPCL, that's the NNPC Limited company. Okay, so he was awarded a contract to survey the pipelines, to cater for the pipelines with respect to security, and so that persons will not go out there and smash our pipeline, start stealing our oil. Okay. Now, but the contract award has caused so much quakes within the Niger Delta region. Okay, in the details, the contract is about 4.5 billion naira rather every month. Okay, and this has brought about other things that have happened beforehand because some persons are against him. Remember, from the backdrop, we find out that Tompolo has been a freedom fighter way back in the early 2000s. Okay? He started from the IYC, but at the time, IYC wasn't really the place for him, like it has been reported. It wasn't a place for him to really showcase his dream and his fight for the Niger Delta people. What is he really fighting for? He is, in quotes, fighting for the government, fighting against government insensitivity with respect to the Niger Delta. Meaning that he is against the government collecting their oil and polluting their environment. At the same time, you are not even taking care of the community where these products are coming from. Okay? That aside. So he came from the IYC. From IYC, he organized MEND. Okay? MEND is a group of Niger Delta, they call it Emancipation of Niger Delta activists. Okay? So from establishing MEND, there was an issue when another group, that's the NPRDF, which was headed by Dokubo Asare, when he likes being called Alhaji Dokubo Asare. That's Asare Dokubo when turned upside down. Okay, so he got bigger when Asare Dokubo was being chased by the government, and Asare Dokubo took refuge in his place. Okay, government Tompolo is from Delta State. Okay, from the Ijaw group of Delta State. Okay, he went to meet what's his name, Tompolo. I mean, Dokubo's Asari Dokubo went to meet Dokubo at his place when he was chased out, and from there they formed a very formidable team that Asari Dokubo now was part of MEND. Okay. And that caused MEND to be so powerful that they had thousands of soldiers. I would call them soldiers. Thousands of soldiers, and they had the military weapons with them. Okay.
So having military weapons doesn't really make them soldiers, does it?
No, of course, but
because they lack the training, the necessary training.
I do not want to, but you know, in Nigeria now there are guerrilla groups up and down. Let me not. I don't want to incite any particular group right now. Okay, but that made him so powerful. And personally, I think from my personal study, he is the greatest ex-militant as it stands now. Okay,
Mm.
I'm not trying to instigate or incite any uproar anywhere. Okay, but from the records, you find out that he is so powerful. Okay, remember back in the day. Sorry, I'm taking your time. I'm trying
It's
to
okay. It's
I'm
okay.
trying to get to the point,
It's okay.
the root cause of all this. Back in the days, he was even awarded a contract of $144 million to do surveillance job around the coastal regions of the country. To tell you that this guy has a track record of hitting top jobs. Okay, and in fact that one even also caused so much problem. In fact that one, when it was awarded, himself was from the report from Asari Dokubo. Right now Asari Dokubo, they do not go on the same path. Yes, they were friends back then. He was taking refuge by Tompolo, but right now Asari Dokubo and Tompolo do not go on the same path right now. Okay, so what happened when he was awarded that contract back in the days, the $144 million contract? Dokubo said that they all went together to meet the then president Goodluck Jonathan, who awarded that contract, and the contract was awarded to them. Them, I mean, Tompolo, Asari Dokubo, High Chief Ateketon, Boylov.
Really?
They were involved in quotes. That's from Asari's report.
Okay.
That they all went, but Tompolo did all the contract. He did not involve any of them.
Single-handedly.
Yes, that he did not involve any of them. That people that say that he is a free giver, that they should not mind him, that he's a very greedy and covetous person. That aside. So what is happening now? A contract again has been awarded by
Okay.
the by the Buhari regime. And mind you, when the government of the current president,
Buhari.
Buhari, when the president came into power, Tompolo was declared wanted because of some shady deals from the past contracts.
Okay.
In quotes, he was being looked at for that. But look at what is happening. After some years, that's to also tell you that this man is too powerful in this region. Reason why he has been also awarded, and you cannot tell me, yes, NNPCL, they are, one will say that they are a limited liability company, they don't have a government influence, but come to think of it, man, really, let's not go there, my brother.
Let's not go there.
Okay, but what is now the issue? The issue is that Chief Rita is one of the women activists in the Niger Delta. In fact, she should be the powerful. Okay, she's from the Delta community. That's from Warri. She has also come out to say, see, if the government does not do anything about this contract, that this contract is causing, or it will cause anarchy in Niger Delta. Because the other day, we even saw a TV report.
Which is already happening. It's already happening.
Yes, I will call them a smaller guerrilla group, has even come out to say, see, Tompolo cannot survey pipelines that is passing through their community. Same thing that Asari Dokubo is saying, that his community, okay, his Kula community has 83 kilometers worth of pipeline passing through his community. That Tompolo will not come to his community to survey his community.
Okay.
My brother, a whole lot of things happening with respect to this. Well, Chief Government Tompolo is there in his community, in Baratu Kingdom. He's there, and he has been having some stakeholders meeting. The other day, he was educating his people on how to clean up their place, on how to manage the government. In fact, he's now a top politician out there doing the political thing. Okay, but I just pray Niger Delta belongs to us, and I just pray that they should just settle this amicably. We do not want wars, especially in the period that Nigeria needs to sustain its resources through oil. Now, going forward, I don't know how the new government will handle this. Right now, we are at the tail end of the Buhari's regime. going forward, what if there is a total change in power? Is this what we are going to continue with, I ask? Okay, it is a very complex situation, and I think I will leave it at that point, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for your thoughts
Thank you.
on that headline, Mr. Victor. Let's move straight now to the Daily Sun, where we have some other interesting headlines here. This one says Makinde, Southwest PDP give Atiku conditions. Makinde, Southwest PDP give Atiku conditions. Insist on Ayu's removal. We will be guided by party's constitution. That's according to presidential candidate. That's on page 26 of the Daily Sun. And on page 3 and 6, we have 2023 elections. Buhari counts on God's will. 2023 elections. Buhari counts on God's will. Muslim ticket recipe for Islamization, says Anglican primate. Okay, that's on page 3 and 6 of the Daily Sun. And on page 4, we have ex-IGP, ex-Inspector General of Police, Musilu Smith, resigned as PSC chairman. That's on page 4. Ex-IGP, Musilu Smith, resigned as PSC chairman. That's on page 4. And on page 6, we have Inec under pressure, confesses Yakubu. Inec under pressure, confesses Yakubu. And on page 3, we have Wike's lawyer's illness stalls hearing in suit against PDP presidential candidate. That's on page 3. And on page 28, we have presidents to present 19.76 trillion naira budget in October. That's according to Baja Biamila on page 28. And on page 27, we have ASU strike. NANS threatens to shut down Nigeria, takes protest to Ibadan. NANS threatens to shut down Nigeria, takes protest to Ibadan. Okay, that's on ASU strike. And on page 26, we have Alafin. Ogboni confraternity warns kingmakers against politicizing stool. That's on page 26. Alafin, Ogboni confraternity warns kingmakers against politicizing stool. That's on page 26. And lastly, on page 28, we have Supreme Court declares Odi Ifeanyi, PDP Gober candidate for Ebonyi. Supreme Court declares Odi Ifeanyi, PDP Gober candidate for Ebonyi. That's on page 28 of the Daily Sun. Okay, Mr. Victor, what do you make of these headlines in the Daily Sun?
Okay, I think I'll do the INEC and the OD case, Ifeanyi OD case. Okay. Okay. The INEC boss Yakubu has come out to say they are under pressure. And the truth of the matter is that INEC are really under pressure. Mind you, when we were saying it here that, see, extension of this voter registration.
Why are they under pressure?
They are under pressure because, mind you, they have the number of staff they can work with.
Okay.
And this is a whole lot of job for them. I must tell you that. Okay? Just recently,
the number of persons who have actually registered.
They don't have enough workforce. I am so sure. Okay. To handle the numbers that we have. Okay. Just recently, they were able to delist. And mind you, Nigeria is a very problematic country. But I'm coming. They were able to delist 1.1 million registrants from just the concluded registration exercise. How can they deregister 1.1 million? You know what it means? That you've taken service of, you've attended to 1.1 million persons and you delisted them. Why? Because some persons went ahead to do double registration.
Wow.
Out of what? Some of them ignorance, some of them just to defraud the system.
Okay.
Some of them, small kids, children, going to register. And you know what causes that?
Yes.
You see that the official, same INEC official, has been bribed.
Okay.
Or at the mercy of traditional rulers or politicians that will carry them to their communities and force them to register young kids.
Okay.
What about persons that on their own, through ignorance, they've told you, see, you can only do transfer, but you now went ahead to register again. So mind you, to also filter out these persons, it also requires time, it also requires manpower. And note that at the same time, they also need to print these voters cards before we now start talking about distribution. My brother,
It's a whole lot.
supply chain is no easy business.
There's a whole lot that needs to be done.
Yes, so they are coming out.
So you feel like that's what's choking them up right now?
Yes, and the election is just close by.
So do you see them meeting up to the required time given to them?
I just pray. That is why they cannot do without ad hoc staff. Okay? We have plenty. Nigeria is just too plenty that they just need help so that they can be able to function properly. Now, we're not also going to step aside the fact that some politicians are also playing different games. And by playing these different games, both in court and both on paper, Inec's interest will also be needed. Just like you mentioned on the paper, Odi Ifeanyi, a politician from Ebonyi State, he won his case against the PDP, or not just the PDP, a faction of the PDP. Now in Ebonyi State, issues for Inec. Now Ebonyi State, in the Ebonyi State PDP, they have factional leaders. Okay, so after the primaries, Odi Ifeanyi is a businessman. He's well known in the eastern region as Anyi Jukes. Okay, Anyi Jukes is a top politician and a businessman. Okay, young though, and he won in his faction. I need to call them faction. In his own faction, he won the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP. Okay, but they now went to court, and mind you, these court cases, they will also need the presence of Inec. Inec has to send delegates, or at least they will send delegates. It might not just be one person, and this will also attract expenses. This will also attract manpower, loss of manpower. Okay, why they are also trying to do one or two other, in fact, the important things. Okay, well, the case went from the High Court down to the Appellate Court, down to the Supreme Court. Fortunately for the OD guy, he won, and he is back on track. But on the other hand, it's just a little bit of the politics in Ebonyi State. I know when time comes, we will hopefully do some programs with respect to that. We also need to let our people know that this OD guy is from the same senatorial district just as the current governor of Ebonyi State, meaning that going forward, there might just be some issue. Now, Nigeria, our politics is politics of zoning, politics of ethnicity, and all that. So I think it might be difficult for him.
Politics of the stomach as well.
It might just be difficult for him because it's a turn-by-turn industry, turn-by-turn limited. So then for Ebonyi South to have power for 8 years and another 8 years, that's 16 years, it might be very, very difficult for them. So in summary, Inec it's clear that Inec are under pressure, and I wish them all the best.
Thank you so much once again for your thoughts on those headlines, Mr. Victor. Moving straight now to our next and last paper for the day, which is The Nation. We have here, this one says, Makinde leads Southwest PDP on Ayu must go call. Makinde leads Southwest PDP on Ayu must go call. Okay. And next we have 2 scientific works win $100,000 NLNG prize. Okay, that's a very good one coming from page 5 of The Nation. And on page 6 of Nation, we have police kill 5 kidnapped suspects. Police kill 5 kidnapped suspects. That's on page 6 of The Nation. And next here in The Nation, we have on page 4, this one says, Akeredolu Adebayo head teams for Tinubu. Akeredolu Adebayo head teams for Tinubu. That's on page 4 of The Nation. And on page 8 of The Nation, we have Buhari to present budget to National Assembly next month. Buhari to present budget to National Assembly next month. That's on page 8 of The Nation. On page 27, we have Oyetola Adeleke, Baker over report of over over report of overvoting. Oyetola, Adeleke, Baker over report of overvoting. That's on page 27. And lastly, on page 28, we have buyers of seized Lagos properties to pay 2001 price. Buyers of seized Lagos properties to pay 2001 price. That's on page 28 of the Nation. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Nation, and of course the papers for the day. And just before we call it a day, Mr. Victor, how do you react to these headlines in the Nation?
Okay, now let's head to the Makinde's gist. Makinde, that's the governor of Oyo State, he came out to say, see, the issue between Atiku, Nwike, and Ayu needs to be resolved. Okay, and he is a strong supporter or part of the movement, the Wike's movement, calling for the sack of the national chairman of the party,
Okay.
Senator Iyorchia Ayu. Now, he has come out loudly, which I am shocked, okay, that somebody like him will come out and make his statement as clear as 7-Up. Okay, he came out to say, see, Ayu needs to go for the sake of unity, because the presidential candidate Atiku is using the mantra to unify the nation. If you want to unify the nation, he says, you should start from the PDP. You should start from the image of the party.
Okay.
We need to unify the country and restructure. Restructuring, for you to restructure the country, you need to restructure the party. Restructuring in the sense that everybody needs to feel the worth of being in the family of the PDP. Meaning that everybody is a stakeholder, so everybody needs to work in hands. Meaning the northeast, the northwest, the north central, the south, the southeast, and the southwest need to have the appropriate position or head of positions in all these regions.
Okay.
Okay. So he's saying if the presidential candidate is from the northeast, which has the bigger block of the north, that means the second person in the party, which is the national chairman, should come from the south. You cannot have a presidential candidate from the northeast and also have the national chairman from the north central.
Okay.
And now you even have the campaign DG from the northwest, from Sokoto. That is the governor of Sokoto, Tambuwa, the same Tambuwa that is causing these same issues.
And it's funny how they tell Nigerians to remain calm and not to take it as anything, that they mean well for the country.
Yes.
Do they think we are babies or something?
Well, and from the fact that they are coming and preaching unity and restructuring, it should start from the party.
Oh, we are not feeling this unity, Mr. Victor. We're not feeling it. We're not feeling it.
Well, the PDP, they are promising you unity. So, for you to feel them, go and vote for them.
Oh, really?
I tell you.
Oh,
yes.
really?
So that you can.
Well, I won't tell you I'm giving my vote
APC,
until
they are
then.
not preaching unity. Maybe you should try PDP, and they are preaching unity.
Okay, I'll wait until next year before I tell you who I voted for. So, for now, I think we have to draw the curtain on the program for today. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor, once again for stopping by.
Sir.
I really appreciate, and I also appreciate my wonderful viewers out there who have been watching us, sticking to their screens up until this time. I say thank you so much, because without you, we would not be here. But this is where we have to draw the curtain on the newspaper review for today. Thank you so much. My name remains Cyril Aloysius. And don't forget, you can follow us on all our social media platforms. Check us out on YouTube, we're at TAV TV. Check us out on Instagram, we're at TAV TV_NG. Check us out on Facebook, we're at TAV TV. And on Twitter, we're at TAV TV. Thank you so much. Until we come your way again next time, do have a blessed and wonderful day. It's bye for now.